Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's the Political Brown Kid here, and this is a video that I've been wanting to do for a while. Just haven't gotten around to the topic. I don't know why. I've just been pushing it off. But as you all know, within the past year, there's been a lot of store closures. I want to say Chicago shut down like a couple of Walmarts. I want to say in Harlem, a Target was shut down. Target chose to shut down the store in Harlem. And there's just been a lot of store closures from these big, should I say catch-all stores, from these big catch-all stores across the United States. And what people just don't want to look at and is the fact that the stores are in troubled areas. I do believe that in Chicago, you had the politicians and people protesting the store closures. And I get it. Some of those people are legitimately shopping, doing the right thing. But unfortunately, you can't be mad at a store for choosing to take their enterprise and leave the community. You just can't. You can't be mad at that. There are stores that particularly do not open in certain neighborhoods. If you look around America, you can see like certain stores in certain neighborhoods. You don't see too many Whole Foods in predominantly black communities. I don't even know if they're in any predominantly black community. If they are, it's one, and they have one store, and it's probably in one very high class black community, which is perfectly fine. And it's their right to do so. That's their right to open up businesses where they choose. So people, you can't get mad at a store or an organization for choosing to either shut their store down or open in select neighborhoods. And this is something that we need to check and look at ourselves and say, listen, we cannot operate in the manner in which we do. When you start seeing on the news all these kids doing these flash mob lootings and robberies of all of these 7-Elevens, all of these high-end stores, and you see employees not even doing anything about it, and rightfully so, because the employees, there's no point in you getting knocked out or hurt or worse over some store merchandise. So I get that. But it's just the fact that some of these cities, and I hate to say it, they're liberal cities, they choose not to prosecute these people. They choose to take it easy on these people, and then they wonder why the stores leave the neighborhoods. Look at San Francisco. Problem city. Problem city with a bunch of problems. And people are leaving California in droves. And you look at where people are going. People are going to these now purple states because they're bringing their blue or liberal values there. They're going to places like Houston, Austin, Dallas. They're going to these states that are predominantly conservative. If you ever open up a business, trust me, if you ever open up any type of business, you'll start to see that, the legislation in the certain, just the loopholes in predominantly liberal areas as opposed to conservative areas, they differ. It's a lot easier to open up a business in a conservative area. The laws are going to favor the business owner. So that's why you see a lot of these businesses shifting from certain areas and going to certain places. That's why you see Elon Musk leaving California and going to Texas. But I don't want to digress. That's kind of like a sidebar. But just as far as for us, if you want a store in your neighborhood, it's going to either take you pooling your resources with your community and trying to open up your own, either going to be a co-op store, try to do your own type of store in your own neighborhood, or you're going to have to try to convince your fellow people to act right, that's going to be a real challenge because these people just don't want to act right. They just don't. So, that's the thing. The hard pill to swallow is when a store is saying, just because a store is packed every day and people are shopping at that store every day, doesn't mean that it's profitable. Because if a store is packed every day, but then at night they have to worry about, the people just threw the clothes. And I'm not trying to say that this is what happened. I don't know what has happened up in like places like Chicago or even Harlem. But if the store is like, if people are just picking up the merchandise, throwing it on the ground, and it takes you, and it's more cost effective, or it's It's costing you more money to reshelve and restock the clothes, refold them back up. If people are just leaving trash in the stores and it's costing you more money to clean up the stores and you got to hire all of this cleaning crew to keep the store clean and you have to do all of these extra measures, hire extra security to make sure people aren't stealing. Then you have to take a loss inventory because people are stealing. If all of those things are going on, I don't care how much you think people are shopping and people are paying, it's not worth the effort to go through this in those type of neighborhoods. I'll say it 1,000 times. You ride through, and people don't understand. I'm gonna say this: when you look at certain school districts, like some people be wondering why, why certain public school districts look better than other public school districts. Now, I kind of agree with you. The textbooks and everything should be the same. But when you got kids writing on walls, when you got kids, or people just hanging out at the school, sometimes it's not even the kids. Sometimes it's the neighborhood. They'll come up there and play on the basketball hoops if they have them outside. They'll come hang out. Trust me, I used to see it. And then they'll sit out there and drink, and then they'll break the bottles right there on the playground. They'll urinate on the playground. It is costing the community more to maintain this stuff. But when you go to a different neighborhood, they don't do that. You see people voluntarily keeping the school clean or keeping the area around the school clean or just in their neighborhood in general clean. People voluntarily do that. You'll see people pick up trash and throw it in the proper recycle bin. You'll see people do those type of actions. People just hold on to trash. Trust me, I ride through certain neighborhoods around here. And when you go through the bad neighborhood, all you see is a bunch of people at the bus stop. You see trash overflowing onto the sidewalk. People trash is just littered everywhere. I used to ride behind people in cars and literally they would throw, I guess they're eating a whole soul food meal because they got the whole plate, the whole foam, container, with 3-part container, and they just toss it out the window into the street, toss it out the window onto the sidewalk as they're driving. These are the type of things that you see. And I'm not trying to say this doesn't happen in rich neighborhoods, but it probably happens very rarely. It happens probably very rarely. You ride through those neighborhoods are clean. People put the trash where it's supposed to be put. People don't vandalize or write graffiti and do all of this other stuff in those neighborhoods. And then you wonder why their neighborhoods are clean or get more attention than yours. Trust me, if you have the budget for both, the other neighborhood doesn't have the budget to clean up graffiti and clean up vandalism. And they don't have to put as much expenses into the trash and keeping the neighborhood clean because it's already done. So they can put those resources into something else. Whereas your neighborhood has to struggle, or I shouldn't say but these poor neighborhoods, they're like, well, the budget was for $1 million for cleanup and XYZ, but we can't keep up with this. So people need to start taking this stuff into consideration. So, and it's only going to get worse because all of these stores, as people start looting and people start getting harmed, the violence continues, whether, be carjackings or just other kind of violence with shootings and things of that nature. These stores aren't going to put up with that. And these stores are going to go someplace else where it's safe and it's more cost effective to operate. So let me know in the comments. This is just the Political Brown Kid. Definitely like and subscribe if you haven't already done so. And definitely leave your comments in the comment section. But this is the Political Brown Kid. Take care.